Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bhagavad Gita class. This is session 52, chapter 10. The objective of this class is to enable reading of the shlok, to understand the meaning of the shlok, and to help understand the basic philosophy of Gita. We are on chapter 10, the opulence of the absolute. This chapter has got 4 sections. Shlok 1 to 7, knowing that Krishna is unknowable and the source of all. Shlok 8 to 10, which is pure bhakti, Chatur Shloki Gita, which we covered last time. And today we will start from Shlok number 12, 12 to 18, which talks about Arjun accepts Krishna's supreme position. And then we'll move forward from 19 onwards, where Lord Krishna describes his vibhutis. And we will end the chapter by the glories of chapter 10 from Pad Puran. So summary of the last class. So let us listen what we did in the last class. We actually read the Chatur Shloki Gita. If we have to explain Gita in 4 shloks, then these are the 4 most important shlok and is called Chatur Shloki Gita. So that shlok is Aham sarvasya prabho mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Krishna says that I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. There is nothing above me. There is nothing, no truth above me. I am everything. Whatever exists or whatever to be exists, everything is me. And everything emanates from me. And the wise who perfectly know this, who has understood this knowledge about me, that I am everything, what do? They fully engage in my devotional service. And what is devotional service? Hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna, doing work for Krishna, listening about Krishna, everything, the entire life is around Krishna and for Krishna. That is devotional service, right? And they worship me with all their hearts. This is what Krishna said in the first 8th shlok. And then who are those who can actually do this? They are, what are they? They are the pure devotees of Krishna who can be at this state, right? So who are always and always thinking about Krishna, just like the gopis of Vrindavan, right? So what do they do? Mat chitta, their chit, their consciousness is fully in Krishna. Mad gat prana, their pran is fully in Krishna. Bodhayanta parasparam. And what will happen? What are their qualities? They will always be talking about Krishna, telling about Krishna, or thinking about Krishna. So bodhayanta parasparam, their life is fully dedicated for Krishna. And kathayantascha mam nityam. And they will be doing kathayanta. They'll be talking about me. They'll be telling about my past my pastimes, my forms, my stories, something or other. They'll be talking. Their talks, if they talk, it will be about or around Krishna or for Krishna, something to do. And it is not in once in a week or something like that. It is nityam, every day. And what will happen? That will bring tushyanti cha ramanti cha. They will get great bliss out of this. By doing so, what do they get? The great bliss. And they are always their mind is always enjoying that. So the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. That is someone who understands that Krishna is everything. That is how they will do. That is the behavior you will see. And they are nothing but the great devotees of Krishna. So what do Krishna do for them is the next 2 shlok. That is shlok number 10 and 11. So to them, what Krishna does? Tesham satat yuktanam bhajtam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. So what do I do? Tesham, to all of them, satatam yuktanam. Those who are satat is always. Yuktanam is connected to me, and bhajtam, they are doing my service, my devotional service, priti purvak, with love. They are doing all this not just by doing because they have to do it, but they are doing all this thing priti purvak, with love. Then what do I do? Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give them buddhi. I give them the intelligence. I give them the knowledge. What knowledge do I give? Tam yena mam upyantite, so that they can come back to me. When they do that, I give them the knowledge. so that they can come to me. It means they can break the bondage of birth and death and come to me. And how does he give that? That is the next slok, which is the slok number 11. Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tamah nashyamyatma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. Tesham, to all of them. So what do? I show them special mercy. O Parth, O Arjun, I show very special mercy to them. And what I do? I as a super soul, I'm dwelling in their hearts. I destroy the ignorance which is in their heart. I destroy the ignorance in their heart. And how? By the shining lamp of knowledge. By the Jnana Deepena Bhasvata. By the shining lamp of knowledge, what I do? I actually remove the darkness or ignorance which is in their heart, so that they are fully purified and they can learn how to break the bondage of birth and death and come to me. So this is what is the Chatur Shloki Gita that we read last time. Today we'll start with the next section, which says Arjun accepts Krishna's supreme position. Yeah. So we go to slok number 12. Let's start. Arjuna Vacha. Param Brahma Param Dhama.
Param Brahma Param Dhamma.
Pavitram Paramam Bhavan.
Pavitram Paramam Bhavan.
Purusham Shashwatam Divyam.
Purusham Shashwatam Divyam.
Adidevam Ajam Vibhum.
Adidevam Ajam Vibhum.
Ahastva Rishayam Sarve.
Ahasvam Shayasta.
Rishya Sarve.
Vishaya Sarve.
Devarshi Naradastatha.
Devasi Naradastata.
Asito Devalo Vyasah.
Asito Devalo Vyasah.
Swayam Chaiva Bravishi Me.
Swayam Chaiva Brabhisi Me.
Param Brahma Param Dhama.
Param Brahma Param Dhamma.
Pavitram Param Bhavan.
Pavitram Paramam Bhavan.
Purusham Shashwatam Divyam.
Purusham Shashwatam Divyam.
Adidevam Ajam Vibhum.
Adidevam Ajam Vibhum.
Ahastvam Rishayah Sarve.
Ahastvam Rishaya Sarve.
Devarshi Naradastatha.
Devarsi Naradastata.
Asito Devalo Vyasah.
Asito Devalo Vyasah.
Swayam Chaiva Bravishi Me.
Swayam Chaiva Brabhishi Me.
Mataji.
Arjuna Vacha.
Arjuna Vacha.
Param Brahma Param Dhamma.
Param Brahma Param Dhama.
Pavitram Paramam Bhavan.
Pavitram Paramam Bhavan.
Purusham Shashwatam Divyam.
Purusham Shashwatam Divyam.
Adidevam Ajam Vibhum.
Adidevam Ajam Vibhum.
Ahustvam Vishaye Sarve.
Aho Swam Rishaya Sarve.
Devarshi Naradastata.
Devarshi Narastata.
Asito Devalo Vyasa.
Asito Devalo Vyasah.
Swayam Chaiva Bravishi Me.
Swayam Chaiva Bravishi Me. Now, after listening to all these things, Arjun Uvacha. Arjun said, what is now? Let us go back about what is happening in Bhagavad Gita. We know in the beginning, first chapter, we know that Arjun had to fight. He asked Krishna to take the chariot in between both the in the middle of the battlefield. And what happened? After seeing all his relatives and everything, he was in compassion. And finally, in the end, he says, I am not going to fight. Right? So he's in that mode. Right? And to him, who is Krishna? Krishna is a friend who is now a charioteer. Right? And and then finally he told Krishna, I'm surrendering to you. I don't know what to do. Please guide me. I accept you as my guru. And then Krishna starts speaking. Now, Krishna talked about what the karma is there, what are the karmas of being a Kshatriya. Then he talked about various ways, like he talked about Dhyana Yoga, he talked about Bhakti Yoga. He explained everything to Arjun, and Arjun had been just listening, right? And when he talked about all the four shlokas, Chatur Gita, after that, Arjun is like, he has understood the actual position of Krishna. So what did Krishna do? Krishna has removed the ignorance of Arjun by the knowledge, by the by the knowledge, what he did, because Arjun was a true pure devotee of Krishna, by giving the Jnana Deepen, by the lamp of knowledge, he had removed the darkness, ignorance in his heart. That's what he did. And once he has done it, Arjun has realized that, oh, he's actually standing in front of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he says, Param Brahma. He has realized that Krishna is the Param Brahma. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Param Dham. His Dham is a Param abode. Pavitram, he's the purest. And Paramam Bhavan, that you are the Paramam, you are the absolute truth. Then Purusham Shashvatam, you are Shashvat. Shashvat means eternal. You are eternal. Divyam, you are divine. And Adi Devam, you are the original Dev. You are the original Dev. Ajam, you are unborn. And Vibhum means you are greatest. So this is what is the, after this now Arjun speaks, after all the questions, he had the queries in his mind, and when Krishna has told or explained everything to Arjun, Arjun has realized, Krishna has finally, to his pure devotees, has lit the lamp of knowledge in the heart of Arjun. And Arjun has realized, and he surrenders again to Krishna, realizing his true position, that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is the Param Dham, he is the Pavitram, he is the purest one. And he says that, okay, I accept it, and it is not that I am saying so because I am your dear friend. Ahus Swam Rishya Sarve. It is not that I am telling you because I am just your friend, but Ahus Swam Rishya Sarve. All the rishis, all the survey, all the rishis, Devarshi Narad, like Devarishi Narad. Asito is another rishi. Devalo, another rishi. Vyas, another rishi. Vedvyas. Swayam Cheva Brahmisha. All of them are saying that, from all the examples, they all are saying that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So let us read the English translation. Arjun said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narad, Asita, Devala, and Vyas, confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. Right? So, as we said, as Krishna has explained in the 4th chapter, that he told Arjun that I am speaking this knowledge again because this knowledge was coming from disciplinic succession and it got lost. So because you are non-envious and my dear friend and so pure, so I am again telling this knowledge to you, so that by disciplinic succession, by parampara, it can actually go down, right? And since we come in the parampara of receiving this knowledge, we should accept the truth that Arjun is speaking about Krishna. We should accept it as is, right? Now, this also reminds me of a story of Srimad Bhagavatam, and that story is of how actually Srimad Bhagavatam was, how it was composed. Yeah, so it happened so that the Manvantaras that we have currently, we are on the 7th Manumantra. It's the 7th Manu is ruling it now, right? So in the 3rd Manumantra, what had happened at that point of time, we had only one Ved. Ved was only one Ved we had. Today we have 4 Veds, right? So at that point of time, there was only one Veda, and Ved Vyas realized that the people at that Manvantara, they have fallen down to a level that they will not be able to understand the complete Ved as one. So what he did was, he divided the Ved into 4 Vedas, and he compiled the Vedas into the 4 Vedas, and he gave each Ved to one of the rishis. So what he did, he gave Rig Ved to Paila Rishi, then he gave Sam Ved to Gemini Rishi, Yajur Ved, it was with Ved Vyas, and Athar Ved was given to Angira Muni. And then all the Purans, at that point of time, there were 17 Puran. There was, today, how many Purans we have? We have 18 Purans. How many Purans we have? We have 18. By then, Ved Vyas had already written 17 Purans. So, all the 17 Purans was entrusted to Romaharsha. And who is Romaharsha? You will always listen in our scriptures about Sud Goswami. Sud Goswami is a very, very common name. You'll say Sud Goswami said, right? So, the father of Sud Goswami is Romaharshana. So, he was entrusted with the 17 Puran and the Itihas. And what is the Itihas? Mahabharat and Ramayana. They are our Itihas. He had also composed the Vedanta Sutra by then. But although he has done all these things, one day he was sitting in front of Saraswati near his ashram, where the Saraswati river is flowing. He was sitting near the bank of Saraswati river and was wondering that why is his mind is still not at peace. He's feeling he's feeling dissatisfied. He's not very happy. What is the reason that, although he has imparted all the knowledge that he had, and he has lived his life as per the Veda, as per all the perfect way one could, then why is it that still he has a dissatisfaction in his heart? And he was reflecting about that. And then in the meantime, his spiritual master, who is the spiritual master of Ved Vyas? It is Narad Muni. He appeared, and being the spiritual master and being the Narad, he knew what is going on in the mind of Ved Vyas. So he said, "Oh Ved Vyas, what happened?" So Ved Vyas said that, Narad, I have done everything, I have written everything what I knew, but still I'm not at peace, I'm not feeling satisfied. He says, I have broadly classified everything and I've explained the principles of dharma, arth, kam, moksha. But still, why is it that I am not happy? So Narad said that you have done that, but you have actually not written the most important, you are yet to compose the most important Puran, which talks about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudev. You have to compose one. Yeah. Why you have to compose that? Because that literature, which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited God, that if you compose, that is what is missing. And that is, unless that is done, you will not be at peace. So you have to compose that, because that is the most important knowledge that has to get imparted to everyone, because that is what can actually break the, take the miseries out of the people life and help them to break the bondage of birth and death. So that is something which you are yet to compose. There is nothing at one place where you have talked about everything. So you need to do that. And such transcendental literature, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by all purified men and who are thoroughly honest and devotional. So Narad said, please therefore describe the Almighty's Lord's activity, which you have learned by your vast knowledge of Vedas, that will satisfy the hankering of the actual devotees, the actual learned people, the saints and the rishis, and that will also mitigate their miseries. And then he says, you have all the knowledge, you have everything. So you go and sit and meditate, and you will get all the information needed to compose it. And then Ved Vyas on the bank of river Saraswati actually meditated, and after the instruction of Narad, and got composed Srimad Bhagavatam. And so this also shows that although all the scriptures were written, but Bhagavad Gita, this Bhagavatam is basically the is like, it talks about him who is the Param Brahm, right? So this is about the story of how Bhagavatam got composed. And let us now move to the next slok, which is slok number 14. Sarve madritam manye
Sarvam itatam pratam manye.
Yanmam vadasi Keshava
Yanmam vadasi Keshava.
Nahi te Bhagavan Vyaktim
Nahi te Bhagavan Vyaktim.
Vidurdevana Danava
Vidurdevana Danava.
Sarvam etadritam manye
Sarvam etatratam manye.
Yanmam vadasi Keshava
Yanmam vadasi Keshava.
Nahi te Bhagavan Vyaktim Vyaktim.
न गीते भगवन् व्यक्तिम्
Vidurdevana Danavaha.
विदुर्देवान् दानवः
Mataji.
सर्वम् एतत् रत्नं मन्ये
Sarvam etadritam manye.
यन्मां वदसि केशव
Yanmam vadasi Keshava.
न हि ते भगवन् व्यक्तिम्
Nahi Deva Bhagavan Vyaktim.
विदुर्देव न दानव
Vidurdevana Danava. Now Arjun says, Sarvam etadritam manye. Manye is I believe, I agree, I accept whatever truth you have spoken, whatever truth, Ritam is truth, whatever truth you have spoken, I accept. Yan mam vadasi Keshava. Vadasi means spoke. Keshava, O Keshav, O Krishna, whatever you have spoken till now to me, I accept everything as truth. Nahi te Bhagwan, O Bhagwan, O Super personality of Godhead, Vidur Devana Danava. Vidu means no. I agree, I know I agree that neither the Dev, neither the Deva, neither or the Danavas, no one knows you. Right? So let's read the English translation. O Krishna,
O Krishna,
I totally accept as truth
I totally accept as truth
all that you have told me.
all that you have told me.
Neither the demigods
Neither the demigods
nor the demons,
nor the demons,
O Lord,
O Lord,
can understand your personality.
can understand your personality.
Now, in the same chapter, 10th chapter, the second shlok we have read, which says, Na me vidu surgana prabhavam na maharshayah aham adir devanam maharshnam cha sarvasha. Krishna has said that Na me vidu surgana, no, Na me vidu surgana, the devatas and the great sages, no one know me, no one understand me. Why? Because Prabhava, I am the origin, I am the origin. I am the origin of all the devatas and all the great sages. So because I am the origin of all the devatas and great sages, how can they actually know me? Yeah. So here Arjun reconfirms. He says, I agree the truth. Whatever truth you are speaking, I agree to that. And I also understand that the neither the devatas nor the demons, they can actually know you. Right? So let's go to the next slok. स्वयं स्वयं एवात्मनात्मानं
स्वयम् एवात्मनात्मानं
वेथ त्वं पुरुषोत्तम
वेद त्वं पुरुषोत्तम
भूतभावान भूतेश
भूतभावान भूतेश
देवदेव जगत्पते
देवदेव जगत्पते
स्वयं एवात्मनात्मानं
स्वयम् एवात्मनात्मानं
वेथ त्वं पुरुषोत्तम
वेद त्वं पुरुषोत्तम
भूतभावान भूतेश
भूतभावान भूतेश
देवदेव जगत्पते
देवदेव जगत्पते
स्वयं एवात्मनात्मानं
स्वयं एवात्मनात्मानं
वेथ त्वं पुरुषोत्तम
वेथ त्वं पुरुषोत्तम
भूतभावन भूतेश
भूतभावन भूतेश
देवदेव जगत्पते
देवदेव जगत्पते. So Krishna, Arjun says, Swam evatmanatmanam vetha tvam purushottama. O Purushottam, O Krishna, I know, vetha tvam, only you. Tvam means only you, vetha, you know. What do you know? About Swayam. Swayam means about yourself. Only you know about yourself. How do you know about that? With Atmanam Arpanam. By your internal potency, by your Atma, you the only one who actually knows you is you yourself. Neither the Dev, neither the Rishis, no one knows you. If someone really knows you is only you yourself only knows you, right? And then he talks about Bhut Bhavana Bhutesha Dev Deva Jagatpate. And then he talks about, he gives 4 adjectives to Krishna. He says, Bhut Bhavan, you are the original of all beings. Bhutesha, Bhut means all. Bhut is all living entities. You are the Ish. You are the Ishvara of all living entities. Deva Deva, you are the Lord of all Devas. And Jagatpate, you are the Lord of full universe. So he again gives more explanation about who Krishna is. So here, let us read the English translation. Indeed, You alone know yourself
You alone know yourself
by your own internal potency,
by your own internal potency.
O Supreme Person,
O Supreme Person,
origin of all,
origin of all,
Lord of all beings,
Lord of all beings,
God of gods,
God of gods,
and Lord of the universe.
and Lord of the universe.
So Krishna, who actually knows Krishna, he himself knows about him everything. No one else can completely know Krishna, right? The only thing is the pure devotees of Krishna, when they completely surrender to Krishna, they are trying their best to understand Krishna. And because of the love that they offer to Krishna, he also reveals himself to them. But to anyone else, they will not know the truth about Krishna, right? So now let us go to the next slok. वक्तुम् अर्हस्य शेषेण
वक्तुम् अर्हस्य शेषेण
दिव्याहात्मविभूतय
दिव्याह्यात्मविभूतय
याभिर्विभूतिर्भूलोकान्
याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान्
आस्त्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठस्य इमां स्ववाप्य तिष्ठसि
इमां स्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि
व्यक्तुम् अर्हस्य शेषेण
वक्तुम् अर्हस्य शेषेण
दिव्याहात्मविभूतय
दिव्याह्यात्मविभूतय
याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान्
याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान्
मामस्त्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि
इमां स्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि
अदजी
वक्तुम् अर्हसि अशेषेण
व्यक्तुम् अर्हसि शेषेण
दिव्याह्यात्मविभूतयः
दिव्याहात्मविभूतयः
याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान्
याभिर्विभूतिर्भिर्लोकान्
इमां स्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि
इमास्त्वं त्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि. Now Krishna, he says Vyaktum. Vaktu means tell. Vaktum. Tell me. What do you tell me? Arhasi Sheshenam. Tell me about your in detail. Tell me. Shesh means complete. Asheshenam means in detail. Divya. Divya means divine. Atma Vibhuti and your opulences. Atma means your Vibhutya, your opulences. Please tell me that in detail. Yabhir Vibhutir Laurokanam. In this lok, in this universe, how does your opulence pervades? Vyapya. Vyapya means pervades. How does that pervades? Please you tell me about that. I want to listen about it. So, Mataji, you spoke about that at the translation. So, let's read the English translation. Please tell me
Please tell me
in detail
in detail
of your divine opulence
of your divine opulence
by which
by which
you pervade all these words.
you pervade all these words.
So we all know that that Arjun is a great devotee. And the devotees, what do? It's in the second slok, in the 9th slok, what they say? They are always talking about Krishna, listening about Krishna. They are never satisfied. It is the knowledge of Krishna is like, it is so beautiful. And the pure devotees, they are always hankering to hear about Krishna more and more. Because the more you hear about Krishna, the more you listen about Krishna, the more you get purified. And then if it's a mundane knowledge, once you have, a movie, you have seen it, you don't want to see it again. Yeah. But the knowledge about Krishna, the stories of Krishna, any number of times you can listen. If you are a pure devotee, you will always keep on enjoying. And here Arjun is saying the same thing. He says, I want to know more. Krishna has already revealed about himself in the 7th, 8th, 9th chapter, because from there he started revealing about himself. Who is he, what he is, he has his energies are. But Arjun says, please tell me more. I want to hear more about you, about your opulences. That how do you pervade in this world? Someone, I want to also know how physically you pervade in this world, so that whatever I see, it should remind me of you, right? So let's go to the next slok, which is 17. Katham vidyamaham yogim.
Katham vidyamaham yogim.
The yogis. Tvam sada parichintayan.
त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन्
Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu.
केषु केषु च भावेषु
Chintayovasi Bhagwanmaya
Chintayosi Bhagavanmaya
Katham Vidyamaham Yogis
Katam Vidyamaham Yogim
Tvam Sada Parichintayan
Tvam Sada Parichintayan
Keshu Keshu Cha Bhaveshu
Keshu Keshu Javaveshu
Chintyo Asi Bhagwanmaya.
Chintyo Asi Bhagavanmaya
Mataji.
Katam vidyam aham yogim.
Katham Vidyamaham Yogim
Tvam sada parichintayan.
Tvam Sada Parichintayan
Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu.
Keshu Keshu Cha Bhaveshu
Chintyo asi bhagavan maya.
Chintosi Bhagwanmaya. Now he says, Arjun says, Katham Vidya Aham Yogis. Now he's addressing Krishna as yogi because he's the greatest mystic. He's the greatest mystic. And he has got, we have talked about his external energy and internal energy. It is Mahamaya is her external energy and Yog Maya is his internal energy. And because he is covered by Yog Maya, so no one can see his real position. No one can see his real position because he is actually behind, he is hidden by the Yog Maya. So now here Arjun addresses him as Yogis, by your, oh mystic yogi, oh supreme yogi. Vidya with means to know. Aham, I want to know. Tell me about what? Tvam sada parichintaya. How can tell me about yourself so that I can sada always parichintayan. I should be always able to remember you. Parichintayan is how I can remember you. Tell me about yourself so that I can always remember you. Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu. Keshu means which. Keshu is which. In which all bhav. In which all physical thing you exist, in which all physical thing you exist. Chintayo asi Bhagwan Maya. Bhagwan, oh Krishna, Maya, I would like to Chintayo asmi. So I can do the chinta, I can think about that. So tell me in which all bhav you exist, in which all physical material activity you exist, so that I can look at it and remember everything, whatever I see, I should be able to see and recognize you, right? So let us read the English translation. O Krishna,
O Krishna,
O Supreme Mystic,
O Supreme Mystic,
how shall I constantly think of you?
how shall I constantly think of you?
And how shall I know you?
And how shall I know you?
In what various forms
In what various forms
are you to be remembered,
are you to be remembered?
O Supreme Personality of Godhead?
O Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So we talked about the Supreme Mystic, the Yog Maya, how Krishna has covered the eyes, he's hidden behind Yog Maya, and that is why people cannot see him, because unless their senses are purified, and they are a devotee of Krishna, they cannot see that, right? So we have seen in Mahabharata, we have seen the example. We know that Duryodhan, Dhritarashtra, Shishupal, they are actually conversing with Krishna, yeah, but they are thinking him to be an ordinary person, to the extent that Duryodhan, when he went to ask for help for the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and Krishna said, on one side it will be me, and the other side will be all my wealth, all my armies, all my weapon, and I'm not going to take any weapon in my hand. And Duryodhan was so happy that he has got all the armies of Krishna, he has got all the wealth of Krishna, he's got all the weapons of Krishna. He was so happy because he never knew that wherever Krishna will be there only there everything will be there. Only the winning will be only on that side where Krishna is, although Krishna is without any arms in his hand. So that is what. So even though Duryodhan is so, he is seeing Krishna face to face, but he cannot understand Krishna because he's covered. Krishna has hidden himself by Yog Maya, right? And also we see the devotees like Pandavas, like Bhishma Pitama, like Kunti, they all know that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in front of us. So it is how you have purified yourself by the devotional service to see Krishna, right? So here Arjun is asking Krishna that please explain to me in which all bhav, in which all physical forms that you exist, so that whatever that I can always remember about you. And this Arjun is not only asking for himself. Now always remember, the great devotees, they only not only think about themselves, they think about others, because there are people who cannot, the common man, they will not be able to understand or grow spiritually, right? But then if you can ask them to relate to physical things, they can, oh, okay, this is Krishna, so they can think and remember Krishna at least, right? So he is taking care of all the common people also. Let us go to the next slok, 18th. विस्तरेणात्मनो योगम
विस्तरेणात्मनो योगं
विभूतिं च जनार्दन
विभूतिं च जनार्दन
भूयः कथय तृप्तिर्हि
भूय कथय तृप्तिर्हि
श्रवतो नास्ति मे मृतम्
स्मृतो नास्ति मे मृतम्
विस्तरेणात्मनो योगम
विस्तरेणात्मनो योगं
विभूतिं च जनार्दन
विभूतिं च जनार्दन
भूयः कथय तृप्तिर्हि
भूय कथय तृप्तिर्हि
श्रवतो नास्ति मे मृतम्।
स्मृतो नास्ति मे मृतम्
माताजी,
विस्तरेणात्मनो योगं
विस्तरेणात्मनो योगम
विभूतिं च जनार्दन
विभूतिं च जनार्दन
कथय तृप्तिर्हि
भूयः कथय तृप्तिर्हि
श्रमतो नास्ति मे मृतम्
शृण्वतो नास्ति मे मृतम्। Now here Krishna says, Arjun says, Vistarena. Vistarena means in vistar, in detail. In vistar, in detail. Atmano yogam. Your mystic, your supreme mystic powers that you have, and your vibhuti, your opulences. Cha and Janardan. O Krishna, Bhuya Kathya. Again tell me. Bhuya is again. Kathya means tell me. Tripti means satisfaction. Shrunavati means hearing. Shruva means to hear. Na asti me mritam. Amrit is nectar. I'm always looking forward to keep on hearing the nectar about you. I'm never satisfied in listening to the nectar that about yourself, right? So let us read the English translation. O Janardana,
O Janardana,
again please describe
again please describe
in detail
in detail
the mystic power of your opulences.
the mystic power of your opulences.
I am never satiated
I am never satiated
in hearing about you.
in hearing about you.
For the more I hear,
For the more I hear,
the more I want to taste
the more I want to taste
the nectar of your words.
the nectar of your words.
Yeah. So it is a cyclic behavior. So what happens? Everything starts, the devotional service starts by hearing. That's why it's called, when you talk about the 9 process of devotional service, the first thing is hearing. The first thing is hearing, and then comes chanting, right? First thing is hearing. Because when you hear about it, then what will happen? You remember it. When you hear about it, you remember it. And when you remember it, you want to more hear about it. Right? That's why Shravanam Kirtanam, the more you hear and the more you chant or do the Kirtan of Krishna, the more you will want to hear more. Because it is a nectar. It is a real nectar that it is not for this body. Because it actually blisses to our soul. And who are we? We are a part of Krishna. That is actually a food for our soul. The knowledge about Krishna, the hearing about Krishna, why we like to hear it more? Because that it actually pleases our soul. And what is our soul? Mamaivansho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. What is our soul? It is a part of Krishna. And so when someone talks about Krishna, someone do the kirtan about Krishna, it actually pleases our soul. Right? So let's go to the next shlok, 19. Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Hantate Kathayishyami
Hantate Katayishyami
Divyahятma Vibhutayah
Divyahātma vibhutaya
Pradhanayatah Kuru Shrestha
pradhanayata
Purusheshta
Nastyanto Vistarasya Me
Nastyanto Vistarasya Me
Hantate Kathayishyami
Hantate Katayishyami
Divyahятma Vibhutayah
Divyahātma
Vibhutaya
Pradhanayatah Kuru Shrestha
pradhanayata
Purusheshta
Nastya Anto Vistarasya Me.
Nasta Anto Vistarasya Me.
Mataji.
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
हन्तते कथयिष्यामि
हन्त ते कथयिष्यामि
दिव्याहात्मविभूतयः
दिव्याहात्मविभूतयः
प्राधान्यत कुरुश्रेष्ठ
प्रधानयतः कुरु श्रेष्ठ
नास्ति अन्तो विस्तरस्य मे
नास्ति अन्तो विस्तरस्य मे. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Now, after all the requests that Arjun has made, Krishna speaks. He says, what is it? Hanta, yes. Te kathayashyami. Te is to unto you. Kathishyami is I will say. I will say. What I'll say? Divya, the divine. Hyatma vibhutya. My vibhutya, my opulences, which are divine. Right? Then he says, Pradhanayanta Kurushreshtha. O Kurushreshtha, O Arjun. Kurushreshtha is addressing to Arjun. O Arjun, Pradhanayata. I will only speak about my principal opulence. Pradhan means principal, the major ones. Pradhan is the major ones. I will only speak about the Pradhanayata, only the major one. Nastya anto vistarasya. Anto, there is no ant, there is no limit. And the vistar, my opulences are so vistar, so much, so many, so vast that I cannot speak about it. But what I will do, I will try to speak only some of my important major vibhutiyas, my opulences, right? So let us read the English translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
yes,
yes,
I will tell you of my splendid manifestations,
I will
I
tell
will
you
tell
of
you of
my
my
splendorous
splendorous
manifestations,
but only of those
but only of those
which are prominent.
which are prominent.
O Arjun,
O Arjun,
for my opulence
for my opulence
is limitless.
is limitless.
Right? So now we go to the 20th shloka and he starts talking about his opulences. Aham Atma Gunakesha
Aham Atma Gudakesh
Sarvabhutashraya Sthitah
Sarvabhutashaya Stitah
Aham Adischa Madhyam Cha
Aham Adischa Madhyam cha
Bhutanamanta Eva Cha
Bhutanamanta eva cha
Aham Atma Gunakesha
Aham Atma Gudakesha
Sarvabhutashraya Sthitah
Sarvabhutashaya Stitah
Aham Adischa Madhyam Cha
Aham Adischa Madhyam cha
Bhutanamanta Eva Cha.
Bhutanamanta eva cha
Mataji.
Aham Atma Gudakesha
Aham Atma Gunakesha
Sarvabhutasaya Stitah
Sarvabhutashaya Sthitah
Aham Adischa Madhyam
Aham Adischa Madhyam Cha
Bhutanamanta eva cha
Bhutanamanta Eva Cha. So Krishna says, Aham Atma Gunakesha. Oh Gunakesh. Now why he is addressing Arjuna as Gunakesh? Gunakesh means someone who has taken control over his sleep. And so what is sleep? Sleep is ignorance. Now Arjuna is out of ignorance, right? He has understood the real position of Krishna. So he is now addressing Arjuna as Gunakesha, who has conquered ignorance. So he is, oh Gunakesh, oh Arjun, Aham Atma. Who am I? Aham, I am Atma. I am the super soul. Sarva Bhuta, in all the living entities. Bhuta Shreya Sthita. I am situated in the heart of everyone as soul, as Atma. I am the super soul situated in everyone's, all the living entities' heart. Aham Adishcha Madhyam Cha. I am the Adi, the beginning. I am the middle, Madhyam Cha, and Bhutanam Antcha. And of all the entities, I am also the end of them. Everything is me. Right? So we have learned earlier in the previous chapters, we have talked about Krishna, that we have talked about the Purusha avatar of Krishna, how from Krishna Mahavishnu comes, and how from his pores universe, when he breathes out, the universe gets created, and in that, and then he expands it from Mahavishnu, he expands as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and these Garbhodakshaya Vishnu goes and takes care of each universe. They enter every universe they enter, and then so one universe will have one Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and from that the progeny. And from Garbhodakshaya, then we have Shirodakshaya Vishnu, who expands to Shirodakshaya Vishnu. And the Shirodakshaya Vishnu is actually situated in the heart of all living entities. And whenever we hear in our scriptures that, the devtas, they go and pray to Vishnu, it's basically the Shirodakshaya Vishnu they pray to, right? So that is what it is. So he is in the, and all the creation starts from them, and everything finally ends into Mahavishnu, right? So everything, so basically for all the living entities, Adi, the origin, the middle, as well as end, everything is Krishna. Everything is Krishna. So now we go to the next slok, 21st. Adityana aham Vishnu.
Adityanamaham Vishnu.
Vishnu. Jyotisham Raviransuman.
Jyotisham Raviramshuman.
Marichir Marutamasmi.
Marichirmarutam Asmi.
Nakshatranam aham Shashi.
Nakshatranam aham Shashi.
Adityanam aham Vishnu.
Adityanam aham Vishnu.
Jyotisham Raviransuman.
Jyotisham Raviramshuman.
Marichir Marutamasmin.
Marichirmarutam Asmi.
Nakshatranam aham Shashi.
Nakshatra aham Shashi.
Mataji.
Adityanam aham Vishnu.
Adityanam aham Vishnu.
Jyotisham Ravir Amshuman.
Jyotisham Ravir Anshuman.
Marichir Marutam Asmi.
Marichir Marutam Asmi.
Nakshatranam aham Shashi.
Nakshatranam aham Shashi. Then he says, Aditya. Who are Adityas? Adityas are the children of Aditi and Kashyap. They are the Devtas, right? Aditi and Krishna and Kashyap's kids are called Aditya. So Adityanam aham Vishnu, and out of all the Aditya I am Vishnu. Yeah. And then Jyotisha, and out of Jyotisha, and of all the lights, of all the Jyoti, all the luminous body, I am Ravi. I am sun. And Marichir Marutam Asmi, and out of all the Marichi is winds. There are various types of winds, and out of that wind, what am I? I am Maruta. I am the Marut. Among all the Maruts, I am Marichi. From all the winds, I am actually Marichi. And of the Nakshatra, of all the Nakshatra, I am, all the stars, I am Shashi. I am basically moon. So let us read the translation. Of the Adityas,
Of the Adityas,
I am Vishnu.
I am Vishnu.
Of lights,
Of lights,
I am the radiant sun.
I am the radiant sun.
Of the Maruts, I am Marichi.
I am Marichi.
And among the stars,
And among the stars,
I am moon.
I am moon.
Then we go to the next row, 22. Vedanam Samavedosmi.
Vedanam Samavedosmi.
Devanam asmi Vasavaha.
Devanam Asmi Vasavaha.
Indriyanam Anaschasmi.
Indriyanam Manaschasmi.
Bhutanam asmi Chetana.
Bhutanam asmi Chetana.
He says, Vedanam Mataji.
Vedanam Samavedosmi.
Vedanam Samavedosmi.
Devanam asmi Vasavaha.
Devanam asmi Vasavaha.
Indriyanam Manaschasmi.
Indriyanam Anaschasmi.
Bhutanam asmi Chetana.
Bhutanam asmi Chetana. He says, Vedanam Samavedasmi. Out of all the Vedas, I am Samaved. Right? Devanam asmi Vasava. Vasava is Indra. Among all the Devatas, I am the king of Devata, which is Indra. Indriyanam Manaschasmi. And of all the senses, of all the Indriyas, of all the senses, I am Man, the mind. Mind. It's me, I am the mind. Bhutanam. And in all the Bhutanam, in all the living entities, I am Chetana, I am consciousness. If consciousness is gone, what will happen? Bhutanam is not there, living entity is not there. It is, we are alive because of the consciousness, right? If the soul is gone, there is nothing. So I am the soul in all living entity. So if the consciousness is not there, then the person is dead, right? So let us read the English translation of the Vedas.
Of the Vedas,
I am the Samved.
I am the Samved.
Of the demigods,
Of the demigods,
I am Indra.
I am Indra.
the king of heaven,
the king of heaven,
of the senses,
of the senses.
I am mind,
I am the mind,
and in living beings,
and in living beings.
I am the living force consciousness.
I am the living force consciousness.
And today's last slok, Rudranam Shankarastasmi,
Rudranam Sankarastasmi,
Vittesho Yakshar Rakshasam,
Vittesho Yaksha Rakshasam,
Vasunam Pavakaschasmi,
Vasunam Pavakaschasmi,
Meru Shikharinamaham,
Meru Shikarinam Aham.
Rudranam Shankaraschasmi,
Rudranam Sankarastasmi,
Vittesho Yaksharakshasam,
Vittesho Yaksha
Rakshasam,
Vasunam Pavakaschasmi,
Vasunam Pavakaschasmi,
Meru Shikharinamaham.
Meru Shikarinam Aham.
So, yeah, Mataji.
Rudranam Shankarastasmi.
Rudranam Shankaraschasmi,
Vitesho Yaksha Rakshasam.
Vittesho Yaksharakshasam,
Vasunam Pavakaschasmi.
Vasunam Pavakaschasmi,
Meru Shikarinam Aham.
Meru Shikharinamaham. He says, of all the Rudras, I am Shankar. I am Shankar of all the Rudras. With means finance, wealth. With mantri bolte na, finance minister. So Vittesho Yaksh Rakshasam. And out of all the Yakshas and Rakshas, I am Vittesho. And who is who is the head of wealth? It is Kuber.
Kuber.
It is Kuber. So Vittesho, the Ish of with wealth is Kuber.
Kuber.
So among Yaksh and Rakshasam, I am Rakshasa, I am Kuber. Vasunam Pavakas Jasmine. And of all the Vasus, I am Pavak. Pavak is Agni, fire. And among the Shikhir is the basically the mountain. Among the Shikhiranam, Aham Meru. And I am the Meru mountain out of all the mountains. So now here, Rudranam Shankarachasmi. Now what I'll tell you is, as per Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 3rd canto, it is explained how the Rudra was born. Right? So I'll tell you the stories about that. So what had happened was that we all know that we talked about how for Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, from the navel a lotus stem came, and at the top there was the lotus was there, and then Brahma was there, right? Brahma was there, and in this stem all the 14 lokas are situated, right? So what has happened when Brahma was created, and Brahma started meditating for thousands of devas years to understand what he needs to do, and then he got the knowledge that he has got the knowledge of creation, and he understood his responsibility that he has to create the living entity and to create progeny, so that there is what do you call it, people, the living entities, it gets populated. So the first thing that he created was, Brahma created, was the 4 Chatur Kumaras. The 4 Kumaras he created, the Chatush Kumaras he created. Now when the Chatush Kumaras was created, they Brahma wanted them to start the progenies, but what happened? They refused. They said, no, we don't want to get entangled in this material world. We don't want to get entangled in this material world. They refused to create more progeny and more. They refused. They said, no, we'll remain small and we are not going to create. Now Brahma, listening that, got angry, but he immediately controlled himself. But then his anger came to his eyes, and his eyebrows got together, and then from there, in the middle of the eyebrows, Rudra was created. And when Rudra was created, because of his anger, he was created. The living entity that got created was Rudra, and this Rudra started crying, and was of red and blue in color. The blue color shows ignorance and red shows passion, and started crying and said, please tell me my name and my place. And then Brahma said, okay, you are Rudras, you are one of the Rudras, Shankar, and you are, there are 11 Rudras, and you are one of them. All the 11 Rudras are created by Shankar, and that's why he called, you are a part of Shankar. Rudra is a part of Shankar, and I'll not your 11 Rudras, and I'll give you a place, at the same time I'll give you 11 wives. So don't worry about it. And what happened, as soon as this happened, the Rudras started creating progenies, and all of them were extremely angry, extremely, they started creating havoc. And then Brahma said, what is happening? And he controlled them and said, no, this is not the time that you have to act. You have to only act during the end, or when I'm ending the cosmic manifestation. So you are there for destruction. So at that time, or at that point of time, you have to get angry and destroy. So you have to now go and start meditating. Yeah. So that is how the Rudras were got created, and from the, when the eyebrows of Brahma met. And then he says about the yakshas, you are Kuber. So the story of Kuber goes like this, that what are yakshas? They are semi-divine. They are not devtas. They are in between devtas and humans. So they are yakshas. And then what happened? Kuber and Ravan, they are supposed to be half brother. Ravan and Kuber, they are half brothers, because they share a common father, but two different mothers. Now, what happened once? Ravan, he actually subjugated the entire universe, and he took over everything that Kuber had. The Lanka was also ruled by Kuber. He took it up from him, and Kuber had a Viman, the Pushpak Viman, that could be controlled by the mind. And he took that Viman also, and Ravan, and what he did along with his other brothers, the Kumbhakarn and Vibhishan, and he went to Lanka. Now, when Kuber was left behind, he started praying. He started meditating, and he started praying to Lord Shiva. And then Lord Shiva got pleased with him and took him to, and near Kailash, and gave him a place called Alkapuri. Yeah. And then Kuber started staying there in near Kailash. So, and he's, so among the yakshas, Krishna is Kuber, who is the head of yakshas, right? Then among the Vasus are also another type of devtas, right? Another type of category of devtas. So which is the Vasu which is very much known in Mahabharata? We know about one Vasu, which is Bhishpitama. Bhishpitama is the eighth Vasu. And why he was born as Bhishpitama? If you know the story of Bhishpitama, they are actually Vasus. And all the Vasus, they had come down on the earth to they were playing in mischief, and they decided to steal the cow, the Nandini cow. Yeah, probably from Vasisht Muni's ashram. They stole the cow, and then the Muni came to know about it. So Bhishpitama was the one who actually stole it. The rest of the one just was helping him. So rest of the Manu, so he cursed them that, okay, because you have done it, you will have to born on the earth. And because Bhishpitama took it, so he got the biggest punishment. And then we know the story of King Shantanu and Mother Ganga. They came there, and Mother Ganga married Shantanu and put a condition that you will not ask me whatever I do, then only I'll marry you. And Shantanu accepted at that point of time. And what happened each time Ganga had a baby, she went and put it in Ganga, right? And finally, when the 7 Vasus were actually drowned in Ganga, and the 8th, when the last one came, Shantanu could not stop himself and asked Ganga, what are you doing? And Ganga had taken the promise that the day you'll ask me, I'll leave you and go. And what happened? Then Ganga explained the story to Shantanu Maharaj, and then she left with Bhishpitama. Later, she came and gave Bhishpitama to Shantanu. So among the Vasus, what am I? I am Pavak, I am fire. And I'm among the Meru, I am among the Shikhara and mountains, I am Meru. So Meru is the mountain which is full of gold. Meru mountain is full of gold, and it's supposed to be the center of the earth. It's supposed to be the center of the earth. And the top of Meru mountain, there is a flat area. There's a flat area. And that is the area where Brahmaji is supposed to sit and meditate. That is the place, that is the throne of Brahmaji, where he sits and meditate. So this is what is the 23rd shlok of 10th chapter. And with this, we will end today's class. Let us chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and then end the class. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare